welcome back, and still watching Business Morning here on Channels Television. Now, President Bola Tinubu has expressed the willingness of the federal government of Nigeria to support global tech giant Google Incorporated to create 1 million digital jobs. Good news catches our attention. Well, on the other hand, we also have from the private sector some collaboration with Google Play Store, where Nigeria debit card can be used on Google Play Store. Perhaps this will also add value to the Naira. Remember that the United Kingdom government has said that they're working on the modalities to accept Naira as a payment source, you know, in the UK. That would, of course, be another good news. But looking at it closely now and in details, what does this mean, especially when you talk about 1 million digital jobs? How should that look like? How could that look like? We have joining us to discuss is the chairman of ICT Group with Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mrs. Ronke Adegbe, joins us virtually from Lagos. Good morning, Ms. Adegbe. Thank you for your time this morning.
Morning, and thank you very much for having me.
Great. So, I mean, of course, even from the get-go, 1 million jobs would do a whole lot to the Nigerian economy. But how could this look like? I believe this is still in the pipeline, as it would say. It's not yet materialized. We haven't heard of a plan of how it's going to come and work. How could it look like 1 million digital jobs between the federal government and Google?
Yes. It's a very exciting development, and I know that a lot of Nigerians are very excited about it. But it's important that we understand the government needs to play a key role in ensuring that the local tech industry is protected. Collaborations are needed, you know, and policies need to be put in place to ensure that the young tech enthusiasts and professionals that we have in our local markets are able to play and dictate the tune. I'd like to put into context the issue of the fact that data, you know, is all about the digital economy. Any digitized data is part of the digital economy, and data is the most transformative economic force since the steam-powered engine. It fuels every digital activity, from search engines to, you know, credit card swipes, and to blockchain transactions. The current estimates, you know, for data activity is $115 trillion. So the questions to ask: how does Nigeria become a big player, you know, in this space? So partnering with Google, we should be asking, what is in it for Nigerian and the Nigerian youths especially, who are hungry for growth? Most of them are unemployed. And this digital training can happen online. That is why I'm sure they mentioned the figure 1 million, because it's very easy to scale businesses on digital platforms, and as well as virtual learning. But like I said, you know, how does the Nigerian government protect the local market players? How does it empower the young people to benefit from this and, you know, of course, transform the economy?
So when you talk
into
about
a global player.
When you talk about protection, it does have the underlining tone that there are some fears of maybe the local industry being overridden or something like that. Could you help us understand some of those fears, why you would talk about protection?
Yeah, so the government has created the NDBP, the National Data Protection Bureau, and I believe that they are working hard, you know, around the clock to ensure that policies that will protect data locally are put in place. However, I do believe that there's a very thriving ecosystem that can be created around data in Nigeria, and that the federal government should take a look at this critically. There are lots of experts that are very keen to add value to the conversations that are needed, you know, to ensure that the issue of data privacy, the issue of data protection, like you mentioned, you know, puts Nigeria on the first point of contact. Thank you.
So when we also look at this relationship with Google, I guess the best solution in these days of AI and IT and ICT would be homegrown. And as you've noted, we do have the brains back here in Nigeria. So one would actually ask, if we have the brains, we have the human resources, why are we not developing ourselves, developing homegrown solution? We have to wait for, we have some other multinational companies that have come into the country and kind of overtaking spaces where local players can actually thrive. So what's stopping us? We have the brains. If you go out there, go to schools, go online, a lot of brains there in the ICT space. What's stopping us?
I would say that government, of course, plays a key role in creating an enabling environment. And I do also believe that ICT is made up of different parts. So it's important that there's a coordinated strategy that works for all sectors. It's also important for industry groups like Lagos Chamber, for example. The ICT sectoral group is focused on data protection for the next 2 years and how Nigeria's ecosystem can be built robustly to accommodate all the new innovation that we hope to see. So from government policies to industry players, and then more importantly, the regulatory agencies, it's their voices I think that we need to hear. They need to direct the journey for us. Thank you.
Mr. Adegbe, so I'm glad you mentioned LCCI because we cannot keep, just waiting on government. It would be nice to know how LCCI is also stepping into all of this. LCCI has the human resources. You're the chair of ICT, so I'm sure you have a lot of people, a lot of corporates, individuals who are working, in this line and who have the potential. What's LCCI doing to bridge some of these gaps and, accelerate the growth that we need?
Yes, thank you very much. Indeed, the Lagos Chamber is, especially the ICT sectoral group, is made up of different ICT industries, and we are working together to fine-tune a strategy that would work for the economy. The data centers, for example, you can see there's a boom in data centers. But like I mentioned earlier, what's important is that data value chain. And we're also focused on that to ensure that all the different industries work together to provide more opportunities and to sort of have like a concerted effort towards growth of the digital economy.
All right, Mrs. Ronke Adegbe, the chairman of ICT group in Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you so much for your time. We do hope that we can get you into the studio one of these days and have a more pleasurable and enjoying conversation. The network wasn't so smooth today. We apologize to our viewers for that. We'll try and see if we can convince Ms. Adegbe to come into the studio one of these days, and then we'll have a better conversation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.